It was a fog-heavy night in the quiet town of Wexford. The streets lay empty, lamps flickering faintly, as though exhausted from years of holding the darkness back. At the edge of town stood Blackthorn Manor, a sprawling estate shrouded in ivy and rumours. Few dared to step near its gates, especially after sunset. The manor had once belonged to the wealthy Blackthorn family, who mysteriously vanished decades ago. Some said they fled. Others whispered they never left at all. Tonight, the manor was alive again. A group of strangers gathered by invitation. Each had received a letter sealed with black wax, bearing only the words, "Your presence is required at Blackthorn Manor." Midnight. The truth awaits. The first to arrive was Detective Adrian Cole, a tall, sharp-eyed man with a trench coat brushing his ankles. His reputation for solving impossible cases had spread across counties. He lit a cigarette and glanced at the crumbling gate. "Truth, huh?" he muttered. "We'll see about that." Moments later, Dr. Evelyn Harrow, a renowned psychologist, appeared. Her eyes, pale and intelligent, scanned Adrian briefly. "You too?" she asked, holding up her letter. He nodded. "Looks like we're pieces on someone's board." Soon after, Samuel Grange, a historian with ink-stained fingers, shuffled up. He looked nervous, adjusting his round spectacles. "I've studied this place," he stammered. "If the letters are true, the manor may finally reveal its secrets." From the mist came Isabella Vane, a singer of haunting ballads, her reputation half fame, half scandal. She wore black velvet and carried a silver locket. "Secrets are dangerous," she murmured. "But I couldn't resist." Last was Marcus Blackthorn, the sole surviving heir of the vanished family. He was young, stern-faced, and carried himself with the weight of history. His voice was low when he spoke. "I intend to learn what truly happened to my kin." The gate creaked open as though it had been listening. They exchanged wary glances before stepping inside. The manor loomed taller with every step, windows glinting like watchful eyes. Inside, dust coated everything, yet candles burned freshly lit in the grand hall. A long table stretched out, set with wine and silver platters, though no food was present. At the head of the table lay an envelope. Marcus picked it up with trembling hands. He read aloud, "Welcome. Each of you holds a piece of the past. Tonight, the manor shall speak. But beware, truth demands sacrifice." A clock somewhere chimed midnight. The candles flickered. A door slammed upstairs. Adrian immediately strode toward the staircase. "Who else is here?" he demanded. No answer came. The others hesitated but followed. The upper corridors stretched endlessly, lined with portraits of grim-faced ancestors. One painting caught Evelyn's attention. A woman with cold eyes, wearing the same locket Isabella carried. "That's impossible," Isabella whispered, clutching her chest. "This belonged to my mother." Adrian turned sharply. "Your mother was a Blackthorn." Isabella looked away. "Half-blood." She never spoke of them. The silence grew thick until Samuel gasped. A door at the end of the corridor was ajar, light spilling from within. They entered cautiously. It was a study, filled with books and maps. A diary lay open on the desk. Samuel read aloud, "We are cursed. One by one, the house takes us. The child must be hidden. Only then may their bloodline survive." Marcus paled. "The child, could that have been me?" Evelyn frowned. "Or someone else? This note is dated 20 years before you were born." Suddenly, the window burst open, slamming against the wall. A shadow darted across the grounds below. Adrian raced to the window but saw nothing more than fog. "We're not alone," he muttered. Back in the hall, the candles had gone out. Darkness pressed around them. Then, faint music drifted through the air, piano keys, hesitant, sorrowful. Isabella stiffened. That song, my mother used to play it. They followed the sound to the music room. The grand piano stood open, keys moving though no one touched them. Evelyn whispered, poltergeist phenomena. Adrian grunted. Or a trick. He yanked the lid up. Nothing. But carved into the wood beneath the keys were words, find the hidden room. Marcus clenched his fists. There are rumors, a secret chamber beneath the manor. Samuel nodded eagerly. I've seen mentions of it in old records. But no map survives. They searched the ground floor, knocking along walls. Hours passed. Frustration grew. Then Isabella paused before a fireplace. Listen, she said, tapping the stone. It echoed hollow. Adrian pressed a brick. And the hearth shifted, groaning as it swung open. A staircase spiraled down into darkness. They descended, torches in hand. The air grew damp and suffocating. At the bottom was a chamber lined with coffins. Each coffin bore the name of a Blackthorn. All except one. In the center stood a child-sized coffin with no name. Marcus's voice shook. Is this the child they hid? Evelyn examined it closely. Not necessarily. Look. Scratched into the wood were initials, IV. Isabella gasped. That's me. She staggered back, nearly dropping her locket. Why would my name be here? I'm alive. The others exchanged tense glances. Suddenly, the coffin creaked open. Inside was no body, only another diary. Adrian flipped it open. The handwriting was shaky. To whomever finds this, the family struck a deal with the house. One life must be claimed every generation to keep the rest safe. We chose the girl. But she escaped. The house has not forgotten. Isabella trembled violently. Me. I was supposed to die. Marcus slammed the book shut. Then the curse falls on us all if she lives. Or, Evelyn countered, if the curse is real at all. The ground shook suddenly. Dust rained from the ceiling. A chilling voice whispered through the chamber, one must remain. Panic broke out. Samuel bolted toward the stairs. But the passage slammed shut, trapping them inside. Adrian raised his torch, scanning wildly. There must be another exit. Evelyn knelt by the walls, feeling for cracks. Marcus was pacing, muttering, it wants blood. It always wants blood. Isabella clung to her locket, whispering prayers. Then, one coffin tipped over, spilling bones across the floor. From the skull's mouth fell a brass key. Samuel snatched it up with shaking hands. Maybe it opened something. He tried it on a panel in the wall. With a click, a hidden door swung wide. They stumbled through into a narrow passage. It led upward, twisting, suffocating. Until at last they emerged into the attic. The air smelled of mold and rot. Old trunks and broken furniture littered the space. At the far end, a mirror stood tall, draped in a black cloth. Adrian approached carefully and pulled the cloth away. The mirror showed not their reflections, but the manor as it had once been, alive with people, music, but laughter. They watched as ghostly figures danced in the ballroom. Then, one by one, the figures collapsed, vanishing into nothingness. The last was a woman with the same locket as Isabella. She turned her head in the mirror, staring directly at them. The debt is unpaid, she hissed. The glass cracked. Isabella screamed. The mirror shattered, blasting shards across the attic. When the dust cleared, Isabella was gone. Marcus shouted her name, tearing through the debris. She was taken, Evelyn whispered. By the house itself. Adrian gritted his teeth. Then we take her back. They descended to the ballroom, following the echoes of faint singing. Isabella's voice. She was singing the same sorrowful ballad from earlier. The room was filled with shadows, swirling like smoke. At the center, Isabella stood, eyes glazed, locket glowing. "She's possessed," Evelyn said. "Or chosen," Marcus muttered. Adrian strode forward, grabbing the locket and yanking it free. Isabella collapsed. The shadows shrieked, recoiling. The locket burned in Adrian's hand before shattering into ash. Silence fell. Isabella stirred weakly. Let me go." But the relief was short-lived. The walls groaned. The floor split. Blackness yawned beneath them. Samuel screamed as the ground swallowed him whole. Marcus tried to grab him. But it was too late. Evelyn cried out, "The curse demanded one life." Adrian pulled Isabella and Marcus back as the chasm sealed. The house quieted. The candles relit on their own. The air felt strangely lighter. "It's over," Marcus whispered. "For now," Adrian corrected grimly. They helped Isabella to her feet. Her face was pale but determined. "I will never return here again." "Nor should you," Evelyn said softly. Marcus looked back at the ruins of his family's legacy. "Perhaps the Blackthorn line should end with me." Adrian placed a hand on his shoulder. "Sometimes survival is the bravest choice." They left the manor together, stepping into the breaking dawn. Behind them, their house loomed silent once more. Yet, as they reached the gate, Isabella stopped. She felt something cold against her palm. Opening her hand, she found the locket, whole again. The others stared in horror. Adrian muttered, "The house never lets go." Isabella's fingers trembled. She dropped it onto the ground. But when it struck the earth, it vanished into smoke. Evelyn whispered, "It will return." Marcus turned pale. "Then the curse isn't broken." Adrian lit another cigarette. His eyes narrowed on the manor. No curse breaks easily. They walked away in silence, the rising sun behind them. Yet none of them felt warmth. That night, Adrian couldn't sleep. The memory of the locket haunted him. He poured himself a drink, staring into the glass. Then he heard it. The faint notes of a piano playing the same sorrowful melody. He froze. The sound was coming from his study. Slowly, he entered. His desk was empty. But on the chair lay the locket. Whole. Gleaming. Waiting. Adrian whispered, "Damn it." His reflection in the window smiled back at him, though his lips had not moved. The voice returned, soft, cold, inescapable, "One must remain." Adrian's hand closed around the locket. The metal burned, searing his skin. But he didn't let go. Somewhere far away, the Blackthorn Manor stirred awake once more. Evelyn woke screaming the same hour, clutching her chest as though something had been ripped out. Marcus dreamed of coffins and woke to find his pillow soaked with soil. Isabella sang in her sleep, her voice not her own. And Adrian, staring into the locket's dark gleam, realized the truth. The curse hadn't been appeased. It had chosen new players. Their fates were sealed. Blackthorn Manor would never rest. And neither would they.